factors breeding insecurity, such as porous national borders and the free flow of ammunition and firearms, youth unemployment, drugs, and blatant criminality, must be tackled head-on. Restructuring our national agencies for effective performance. There is an urgent need to change the National Security Advisor and the security architecture of this nation. Law enforcement agencies will need to be better equipped and motivated. But let the truth be told, our security agencies have been infiltrated by the enemies of the state, and those who have compromised must be purged. We therefore demand that these agencies of government be totally cleaned up without delay. The political process. The activities for the general election of 2023 are picking up, and there is need for strengthening internal democracy in the political parties. We must say that the insensitivity and the display of impunity by our political leaders, especially in the two major big parties, is worrisome. The APC's inconsiderate and insensitive Muslim ticket is a recipe for Islamization. If this arrangement is forced down on this nation, religious and social discrimination and open public enforcement of the Sharia law will take roots in some parts of this country. Nigeria, as we know it, your so-called civilized understanding. On the other hand, PDP should resolve its internal issues. We strongly believe that a political merger between northern and southern-based parties across tribal, religious, and ideological divides with good connectivity at the grassroots will be a game changer. No one party has all the solutions to our national challenges, and we must learn to manage our diversities.
All right, welcome back. Still Road to 2023, and that was the Bishops' Conference, the prelate of the Anglican Communion speaking on their behalf. We must learn how to manage our diversities. Okay, the main topic tonight, opinion polls and the implications of the electoral process. Has it always had any impact on our electoral process at any point in time? Of course, opinion poll is simply a survey. It's a human research survey of public opinion from a particular sample, just trying to know, depending on how you are looking at it. And it's done all over the world. There are popular opinion polls, people that administer, and many a times the result, especially in civilized climes, as elections are coming on like this, they hold opinion polls. And many a times in some of these civilized climes, some of these results go in the direction of the opinion poll. If not 100%, most times 80-90%. But in our climb here, opinion polls are not taken seriously. It's just like the issue of debates in Nigeria. We saw the emergence of a UK Prime Minister, Liz Truss, and all the processes, the debates they went through, and as people listen to them, they get to understand and know the direction the country is likely to go with A, B, or C. Those things influence people's opinion. And that's exactly the same thing that happens with opinion polls. But regrettably, Nigeria is something that we have issues with it because many a times we read sentiment and look at who is behind it. All of these things affect how we look at opinion polls. But we want to anchor our discussion tonight on the one commissioned by Atedo Peter Side Foundation, which was they will vote for Peter Obi. Why 13% went the way of Atiku, the People's Democratic Party presidential candidate, and that of the All Progressive Congress, Bola Tinubu. Both of them tied on 13%, while Okwanso of the New Nigeria People's Party came a distant fourth with 3%. So the APC and the PDP, of course, had quickly dismissed it. Some of them call it saying that it was bias. Some alleging that P2B's, as a matter of fact, is the surrogate company of P2B. But gentlemen, we without before we begin to break down into areas, because the opinion poll they also gave an indication the languages, 5 languages were employed, and of course, people were interviewed, men, women, it was broken down. But let's just look at it from the face value. With opinion polls, does it have any relevance in Nigeria's electoral process?
Um, Over time, we've been having opinion polls, but to some extent, it never used to have some effect. But like I keep saying, life is dynamic. Things are changing, and my belief is that this very one that has been held, to some extent, is to feel the pulse of the nation. And if I would say, I tell the Peter side is a very serious-minded human being. I mean, he's been a successful banker. He has been a successful technocrat over the years. So I don't think that anything that comes from him should be treated with levity. And opinion polls, like I've said, is to feel the pulse of the people as we speak with the present circumstances that we find ourselves. So this very one, I think it is relevant and it is going to make an impact.
Um, GB, let's hear from you. Does opinion poll have any relevance in Nigeria's electoral process?
Just as he has said, we have not seen any impact of opinion poll in our previous elections, I mean the general elections. And look at the environment, you know, every politics is local. I say it again, every politics is local. If you are comparing Nigerian politics with developed politics like the US, Britain, and some other few African countries like maybe South Africa, you can say yes, there can be some impact. But as for Nigeria is concerned, we have not had an impact of it. And I want to give you an example. If you look at preparation to the primaries of each political parties, opinion poll showed that Peter Obi will win the PDP primaries and that Oshibajo will win the APC primaries. That was what the opinion people are saying. In fact, people are already saying that that would be it would be very interesting if Peter Obi come from PDP and this. But in the end, if you look at the politics of it and everything, when at the conclusion of the primaries, he went the other side. In fact, Tinubu was rated third. That Oshibajo and what is named the former minister of sport, then Tinubu. Then at the PDP side, you talk about Peter Obi, then Atiku, then Wike, and the rest. But what I'm saying is that the politics is local. Opinion poll has not really had any effect in our political, general election. And I don't think this one also will have any effect. Number one, we are not giving any more information about the demography. If they went to the field, or is it based online or whatever. But what I'm saying is that I know there are more some influence of social media in that pool. The way I see it, if they went to the field, where and where did they go to? Because if you look at the local people that really go out during the election to vote, they are much in the rural area. They are not in the, in VI. They are not in the Lekki or Maitama or this and this. Those ones will stay in their industry, or they will travel out of the country, fearing that there can be any chaos. They don't stay within the country during the voting. It's the people that graduate that vote. So to me, there won't be any different about the poll. It will not have any impact, just like the way it has been before.
All right. Looking at some of the things they said, maybe it can also give us a little bit of insight that each of the zones, the percentage of registered voters, according to the foundation, is as follows. In each of the zones, 99% registered in the northeast, 90% in the south south, the north central, and the northwest. The lowest registered voter percentages were in the southeast with 88% and southwest with 85%. And when you look at some of these things, also wanted to know whether the people knew the persons contesting elections. And what they found out was 98% were aware of Tinubu contesting. For the APC, 95% were aware of Atiku Abubakar contesting. Uh, Tinubu 99%, Atiku 98%, and P2B 95%, while 74% were aware that Rabiu Kwakwanso are contesting. So, for some persons, what would you think? GB, I'm coming to you now. What would you think will, because a lot of argument had always been it is about the social media, that people, this opinion poll could have been based on social media. But it also may not have been based on social media, but real people who they interact with on a daily basis. And moreover, the opinion poll also said if the election is conducted today, so why are we losing so much heat over it?
Yet I will start from the fact that they say if the election is conducted today, yes, if you look at it, they say in the area of popularity, Obi was the least. 95, 98, and something like that. And then you are now saying the opinion pool now is giving the one that have the 95% as that likely to win. Yes, you see, let me tell you something. Nigerians, especially those who are they are, if you go to the street now and call somebody I want to interview you, many people are shy even to talk to the press. Many people are shy. Only the enlightened one, called the elite, will be ready to talk to the press or to meet the press or answer questions. So based on that, that's why I say that that opinion pool is an elitist opinion pool. You don't get to the grassroots or somebody a wheelbarrow pusher or somebody selling paper in the market or somebody who's a bricklayer, a mechanic. Because of that, you see, those who are really rooting for Obi, sorry to say, they are more elitist and they are among the youth who are feel that look, we need to take it at this time, it's our own. And they felt that PDP has appointed them, if they appointed them, let's try this new wife. And by the time when you are when you have a girlfriend that you are trying to woo, you give him everything, you give everything until you have a taste. So because of the experience from PDP and APC, they believe that look, this man will give it to us. So based on that, that's why people say that today, if they conduct the election, let's try this new man. Like people say that when they say when APC was coming, change, they want to see that change. So everybody want to see that new thing Obi bringing. So I think that that's one of the influence of the opinion because, like I said, the demographic not know is not want to rub. But from what I've seen is that it's more of an elitist opinion poll. It didn't get to the grassroots of people in the village, the rural people. So because of that, that's why I say, if you don't connect today, let's see what this man is bringing to us. Obi usually reel out all the statistics. This one happened in Indonesia, this one Malaysia. People are saying, look, this man he has something, that kind of. I mean, they are captivated by such statistics. So they want to see, let's bring this Malaysia down to Nigeria. Let's bring Singapore down to Nigeria. Let's bring US down to Nigeria. So, but then I think it's a kind of it's a rave that everybody wants to say, okay, let's see what this man is bringing. So that I said that if you call it today, I mean, he win the election based on that. But I'm telling you, a day in election in Nigeria, 24 hours anything can change in Nigeria, and the time is still very far. That I mean, the next 6 or 4 months, anything can still change.
If we have a poll conducted based on the rural areas, and for one reason or the other, they still say he's leading, what would be your reaction on that?
Well, my reaction is where in rural area. Let me tell you something. Uh, when Obi was interviewed after the article declared for presidency, that why are you here? Won't you contest? He said, I will not contest unless my party zone me to southeast, then I will contest. Mean that as at March, April, he was not really prepared to contest for presidency. But sooner or later, we find him coming out. What am I saying? What I'm saying is that Atiku have been preparing for this thing for about 29 years, and that's in 1992, SDP, he collected in Jos against MKO. Tinubu has been in this race in politics, trying to get to this, as I said, right from the time he contested as governor. But Obi just came in now.
No, Tinubu has been he contested as governor. He has not contested as president.
No, what I mean that in politics, he contested as a senator in 1992. After 1999, after 1999, he became a governor. He said he had been working towards becoming. They say it's a lifetime and something. Obi, like as I said, Obi was not really prepared to become president. So when you go to the grassroots about structure. It's about people who are there. It is now that they're trying to have that structure. People say, okay, we believe in this man, let this man come and so it's now Obi trying to get to the grassroots to sell himself to the grassroots. That's why you see that Obi was going from radio houses to radio houses, going from television, trying to tell them what he can do, breaking this and that. You can see you will never see Tinubu or Atiku in any of the radio houses. They give them special interview. Obi was trying to push it out to the public that I have this stuff. I'm intelligent. I've done it in Ambra. I can do it again. So based on that, I'm saying that if they go to the grassroots, many people still ask you who is this Obi because the name has not been ringing. And if you look at where to go, it's regional. If you go to the north today, if you talk about Obi, people will be asking you who is this Obi. But just hearing maybe Labour Party trying to sell Obi. But in the in the southeast, I know it is there and making the wave. But what I'm saying that if it's based on rural area, Obi that movement has not really gained ground so as to say to get to the rural area and win that election. I don't think he will still get it, even based on rural area.
Wilson, before we bring in our brothers online, once again, for a lot of persons, he had argued that if the polls were conducted in rural areas and by venture he still says Obi is leading, he will still question which part of the rural areas. So, for you, uh, we are looking at the polls. Can it determine the direction of this election? If we talk about preparation, there are so many people who may if we look at the history of Nigeria, who are not prepared for the position they eventually got. Uh, we had Shagari was preparing to go to the Senate, and of course, he ended up as president. Obasanjo was in prison. He ended up as president. Buhari was sitting in Daura, probably drinking his Fura de Nuno, and we went to beg him to come and become president, and so on. So, what is about the opinion pool that people are worried about? If it is nothing, why should people be worried about it?
Mr. Victor, you already said it that if it is nothing, why should people be worried about it? Because there is something in it. And like my brother is saying, I don't know the rural area he's talking about because I know that every day I interact with people in the rural area. The same hardship that everybody is passing through is what they're passing through in the rural area. There's no difference. Whatever you buy here in Abuja is almost the same thing that you are buying in the rural area. And the prices are almost the same, skyrocketing everywhere, hunger everywhere, sufferings everywhere. Everything that is happening to everybody in the urban area is happening to them in the rural area. So I don't see the reason why you say that um, the opinion poll, even if it's held in the rural area, it will not have any effect. It will have effect because people are tired. People are tired and they need a paradigm shift. The fact that Atiku started politics in 1920, or Tinubu started election campaigning, or has been in politics in 1900, they are old people. They have been there. Obi is a younger person, so you don't expect him to have started politics when they started. It's not like you're a professional. You don't expect somebody that is graduating today to compare with you. You are more experienced, yes, but then how has your experience affected people positively? That is what we are talking about. So I don't want to know about the fact that they are older people or they are on ground. Yes, they have been on ground. To what effect positively has their been on ground been to the people, both PDP and APC? So the opinion polls, like I say, is the pulse of the people at the moment. And it is going to graduate from the level that we are now running to the elections. We are here to watch and see. If only the ground will be level for everybody to express themselves. That's what I'm begging. The ground, everybody should be allowed to express themselves. Atiku, Tinubu, let them tell people what they intend to do. Yes, they have been there. They have been governors. They have been running elections for donkey years. Where has it led us to?
All right. Let's now welcome our brothers online and hear what they have to say. Um, where do I start? Okay, James, let me start from you again.
I appreciate it. Thank you so much indeed. The fact that those guys have been contesting elections for since God knows when, I don't think is very relevant. Here in the Gambia, Yahya Jammeh ruled the country from July 22nd, 1994 till December 16, 2016 or so. 22 consecutive years. The man who swept him out of office came to limelight in less than 3 months. The main opposition leader was imprisoned. While he was in prison, the other party members were afraid to step into his shoes. A rent collector from nowhere, a high school dropout, said, I don't mind, let me take the risk. He stepped into his shoes. In less than 6 months, election was conducted, and that was the end of Yahya Jammeh's 22 reign in office. So if they've been contesting an election or their perennial presidential candidates is irrelevant. People are tired of saying they are tired. In Zambia, I still remember Kenneth Kaunda was in office for how many years? Donkey years. Frederick Chiluba came from nowhere and swept him out of office. There are a lot of examples all over Africa. Anyway, my worry with this issue of the opinion polls is that I'm sure they did it scientifically. They apply the rules. I think statisticians call it random variables. It's a mathematical model they use in coming up with these things. Now, while they were doing it, I'm very certain they did not factor in rigging. They did not, there was no way scientifically they can factor in rigging into the loss of random variable to come up with acceptable result. Now, assuming on election day, you see people pouring in from Niger, what happened to all the forecasts you are making? I don't think it can hold, because
That's the fear.
I mean, these are issues we must, not shy away from, because rumors are already circulating. Although it's rumors, no responsible government work with rumors, but rumors are already circulating that registration is going on in Niger. I can't remember where I heard it online. So if that is true, and on the day of election, these guys start pouring in, ladies and gentlemen, the opinion polls cannot hold anymore. That does not necessarily mean that they did not do a very good work. They did a good job, but circumstances prevailing in the country is preventing them from achieving the desired results. Um, the most important thing right now, I think the gentleman sitting on your right hand side was saying it, say something about it. We want to see their blueprint. If you want to solve the problem of education in Nigeria, how do you go about it? How many children are in schools in Nigeria? Primary, nursery, secondary, and university. Where will the money come from? If it's free education, how feasible? What and what will you where will the lecturers come from? These are, you see, the parties should have research teams, and this research team should be assigned, duties or responsibilities. You look into economy, you look into something like industrialization, education, agriculture, transport, something like that, so that when they appear before the people, like Awolowo did in I think 1979 election, he told us in Midwest that he's going to give us free education. And we sat him down, we quizzed him. To our satisfaction, he answered all our questions. We voted him to office, and I'm a product of that man. I received free education from primary school. I did attend nursery school, from primary school to university level, because of planning. Peter Obi, so-called Atiku, what's it called, Miloko, they should sit down, work out modalities to rescue the nation. It's not enough saying, oh, I will reconcile the country. Oh, I will. No, that is not. How will you reconcile the country? The terrorists who are sending us to hell right now, where are they coming from? How many illegal guns are in the country? How do you hope to sanitize the military, infiltrators into the military? The Boko Haram boys who has been co-opted into the military, how do you flush them out? And most importantly, anybody, I repeat, anybody who has committed atrocities against the state must be held to account, because the English law, that's common law countries, they work on precedents. If a man commits an offense today and is not done anything, nothing happens to him, if if another man commits the same offense tomorrow, it's against natural justice for you to call that man to order. Let me go back to Ghana again to cite the last example. When those judges were killed, Jerry Rawlings' government was under enormous pressure. He had no option than to wash his hands of those who carried out the dastardly act. And as a result of that, people like a man they call Samuel Kweku Amadeka, Michael Senya, Tony Pekbo, Yoni Jandu, they were condemned to death. Amadeka escaped from prison. The others, and one man they called Joaquin Amatekwe, they were executed by firing squad at Reverend John Taye Memorial School off Accra Usawan Highway. You see, anybody who commits offense against the state must be called to order. If you are stealing crude oil now, that does not mean that you go scot-free. Crime has no expiry date. Wherever you are called to order, whenever it is time to call you to order, be prepared to face a firing squad if need be. If the nation is lenient on you, you can go to life imprisonment. For as long as the government will not be willing, the future government after 2023 will not be willing to call these people to order, this country will not know peace. Because the precedent has been set. Treasury looting is no profession, but it has been made a profession in the Federal Republic of Nigeria. So we are watching. But I still doubt if the election will hold. Thank you, Mr. Victor.
All right, thank you very much, James. Obi, let's hear from you.
Okay, thank you, sir, Mr. Victor. See, I don't believe in that poll because these people conducting this poll and others should first of all sanitize INEC and secure the BVAC machine because rigging is a top priority for APC government and APC candidate. APC are ready and want to rig this 2023 election by any means necessary. How can a poll be correct or right when one person can develop 46 PVC card, a ghost PVC card, and uploaded it to the secured, quote unquote, so-called secured BVAC at a secluded or one place where they have 6,000 people or 6,000 people registered the last election. As long as INEC is compromised and working for APC government. Okay, example. Look at Omuma in Olo. Right now, like I said before, it's not more than 5,000 there. But one person will see that area and create 46,000 PVC card. How can, Victor, tell me, how can the opinion poll work on that area? This opinion poll is just a drama and a joke. Even if the poll is correct, how can, if at all the APC succeeded 4 or 5 states out of the 18 states that were allegedly said that they are going to do the same thing that happened in Omuma, like the ghost PVC voters, then you and I know that the poll is useless because the poll is a human being that are asked questions and they answer. But when one person sit one place and keep on generating ghost PVC voters or ghost PVC people to vote, then it's useless. So finally, it's not all about the rural or urban area. The fact that the reason why APC have hope by going around saying that, like example, the Imo State, I keep on using the Imo State because that's what those people use and that's where I come from. The whole post of them are going around talking where majority of the people don't like him, knowing that he's a judiciary governor, that is not elected governor, that he keep on saying that he would deliver APC. He would deliver Imo State to APC. This is the reason why they already have their plan in play. So the poll does not matter. Even here in America, sometimes they never believe Donald Trump will win election. But where it is well done. But I don't know how they do their own in Nigeria. But as long as I am concerned and as long as INEC is compromised, the poll is useless. So we should focus our time to make sure that the BVA and the INEC is not compromised. That's my own take on it. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Obi. Paul Iwunze, let's hear Paul.
Yeah, Mr. Victor, to go straight, the opinion poll, it means the people's opinion. It should count, but knowing that in our country we always do things up the opposite way. It might not count during the election, but it should count because that's what the people want. And Obi is leading in that people's opinion for a reason. He won the NBA program for a reason, and we are still questioning him. We still doubting him, or we still don't want him. Some people are trying to repackage something that will not work to give to Nigerians. If you fail to have to hear people's opinion, or the candidates fail to, give people what they intend to do, or let people hear from them, and allow people to vote in the dark, just like our current president did not even tell us he did not appear at the debate. So the people voted for him blindly. And we can't afford to make that same mistake. And I want to say to one of your guests that says the opinion poll is not going to count. He said something that the people, we are only following Obi because we want to see the change he's coming with. No, sir. Obi has been tried, tested, and trusted. Obi was the governor of Anambra State. Obi did excellently well in 3 key areas that hold every country: education, economy, and security. He did excellently well. And these 3 areas in our country now is nothing to write home about. That is where we are suffering the most now. So Obi did well in these 3 key areas. So we are not only following him because we want to try another party or try another man, but we are following him because we know what he can do. He has done it before. We trust him. That's why we are following him. Above all, and everybody knows that no matter what you believe in or who you're trying to repackage, everybody knows that Obi is the most qualified right now. That is what Nigerians we need now. So I think that this is the time for Nigerians to be having national consensus for P2B. But if Nigerians want to, repackage something that we know that will not work, if we want to do that, okay, we can go ahead and do that. I was listening to Shetima during before APC primary election. He was, saying how they repackaged Buhari after he has fed so many presidential elections. They repackaged him and brought him before he won the election. So if we want to do that same thing now, okay. But I think everybody should be working on bringing Obi on board. Thank you, Mr. Victor.
Thank you very much, KD. Let's hear you, KD.
Yeah. Good evening once more, Mr. Victor and the rest of the guests there. Well, my take about this opinion poll is, hello, are you hearing me?
Go ahead,
Go ahead. Good evening.
Okay. My take about this opinion poll is that even if it had favored the candidate of my own candidate, I wouldn't have even accepted it. The reason is very simple. Now, what is the population upon which the sample size was drawn? And what is the margin of error allowed for arriving at that statistical result? If these are not properly defined and explained, then the opinion poll will not have it will not have a ground, because it's very, very crucial in statistics and in trying to draw a conclusion from a number of people. What is even the demography that they choose? All these are very important. But I think those who are behind it, if they did it with sincerity of purpose and they came out with that result, fine. But I don't want those who think it has favored them to fold their arms that they're already with. Like one of the guests said there, 24 hours is a very, very, in fact, is very important in politics. And let me tell you, Victor, you see, Peter Obi and the rest of the candidates, you can liken them to a product that has been on ground, either good or bad, but it has been on ground. Let's take, for instance, Coca-Cola now. If you bring out a product that is better than Coca-Cola, you need time to be able to push that product to offset Coca-Cola that has been on ground. What we are saying is that, like the other the man on your left there said, you see, Peter Obi started this move soon after Wike, frustrated him out of PDP. And that was where he started serious, move to be president. I would say presidency in polarized Nigeria, place like Nigeria, where certain parties some of the parties have been so entrenched in the heart and minds of people, you don't come at the late of hours like this and think you will get it. I know Peter Obi is going to get some votes and win some state, but that he will garner 24 states out of 36 states to make the required constitutional mandate, I doubt much. That is not to say I'm not wishing him well. I'm wishing him well. But we have to be very, very realistic. If you go to the hinterland, hello?
I'm beginning to wrap up, KD.
Okay, let me wrap up. If you go to the hinterland, where people, they don't know anything about this opinion poll or sort of things, you know, an average Nigerian, before you even ask him something about politics, he will be very skeptical to answer you. He will thinking you want to use it against him. So to me, it's an elitist, opinion poll they have come with it. But whatever it is, it has given some insight. If it is true, fine. Let Peter Obi use it and continue. But I doubt it much. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Femi, let's hear from you.
Hello, Victor.
Okay, go ahead.
Can I go ahead?
Yes.
Okay. Very well. In other clan and Sena clan and more advanced country, the opinion polls shaping the results of elections, and many a times the result comes out.
Yes, Savik. Yeah, the opinion poll. Yes, it has been used in Sena clans to basically determine, to feel the pulse of the people. And I think that is what opinion polls are meant. However, for the fact that the parameters, some of those parameters that are very important for such opinion poll, that they are not available, it might not give the necessary credit to the opinion poll. However, it will not be set aside, because if you look at the opinion poll pattern, based on the result I saw, or based on the data, the result I saw, it shows clearly that there are some areas where each aspirant has strength and each aspirant has its own weakness. But there's a large, what I tend to take from that opinion poll is that there was a large volume of about 33% of people who were still undecided about where to cast their vote or who to cast their vote for. I think those people there should be more enlightenment, because most people are still undecided on where to cast their vote. Then there's another 15% that decided to say, we are not interested in this. So if you look at it, we are looking at 45% of people, or of those sample data, who are saying, seriously, this, I'm not sure if I will get myself involved in it. Or even if I'm going to get myself involved, I'm not sure who I'm going to vote for. So yes, it might have shown that Peter Obi is in the lead. However, there's still more work to be done, especially for Peter Obi, judging by the fact that he's not a new entrant compared to what, just like what one of your guests said. Peter Obi has been on the ballot before. He has been a vice presidential candidate. So he's not a new person. He's an old face. He has been a governor before. And he has been in the Nigeria Stock Exchange as the chairman. So he's not a new face. He has been around. He has been into businesses. He has toured around the country from one part to the other. Not necessarily for his own, but for different purposes. And for that reason, he has a face. He has a face to show. He has a market. Funny enough, he has a product. His product is what he did in Anambra State. He's talking about it. And that is what is motivating people to move to him. So he has a market. So nobody should come and tell us that Peter Obi is new. He is not. Is he prepared? Yes, Peter Obi is prepared. If he's not prepared, he won't even. If you're not prepared, you can't even talk about presidency. Most people who are not prepared, who went into presidency in the primary, they lost out, and there was nowhere to go. But imagine, some months ago, what's it called? Dele Momodo came on TV and said that when he spent his first 10 million naira in Labour Party while he was trying to contest for presidency in 2015, that all his body started vibrating. But Peter Obi is in Labour Party, that same party, and it's flourishing, and the party is flourishing, and everybody, the recognition of the party is crazy. So really, he has done quite a lot within the past 4 months, but is it there? No. Are we supposed to be celebrating? No. Do we still have more milestones to be achieved? Yes. And that should be the essence. We should forget about the victory of the opinion poll. It's just at this point in time, and I think it's too early to talk about opinion poll to decide 2023 election. We still have 6 months ahead to decide that. So right now, yes, we have covered some ground. We need to push forward. Obedient forever. The man is competent, is prepared for the job, is stable, he is determined, he is concentrated in the job. He has already done it. When he says he's going to move from consumption to production, people will be asking, what do you mean by consumption to production? But he has done it before. He did it in Anambra State, where that ensured that resulted to the manufacturing of car manufacturing in Anambra State in the name of Innocent. Innocent was not manufacturing car until Peter Obi became a governor and encouraged him. And even Peter Obi was the person that did the foundation laying for Innocent car manufacturing. Today, it was the one that did the foundation laying and commissioned it and gave him one of his first jobs to supply vehicles. It was those vehicles that when Anambra State received and now distribute, that now encourage people to now say, oh, it's like there's a car manufacturer in here, locally made car manufacturer. Let's encourage them, let's patronize them. And that is what is going on. Today, you see Innocent vehicles being used in Nigeria airports to convey passengers from airport from the plane on arrival to the boarding pass or to the departure lounge. That is what we are talking about. So that is production. That is from consumption to production. So he has done it previously. I don't see why people will not support him. Why he will not be having the leading point at this point in time. And it's going to move like that. It's going to get better. I don't see it going backward. It's going to get better every day and every time. There's work. People are still working every day to ensure that Peter Obi will continue to be on the lead. And he's going to leave whatever Okowa has said. Okowa is just talking his own because he has to talk for it. Right. If you look at Okowa's analysis too, it doesn't really work. It's just crying over spirit milk, how Peter Obi will take votes from southwest, southeast, how Peter Obi will take votes from south-south. Of course, he knows Peter Obi will lead in south-south. He knows PDP is not going anywhere in south-south. He's just wasting his time. So that is it. Even in North Central, even Okowa, who is the governor, made mention of it that even in North Central, he said Peter Obi is taking vote from them in North Central. Who else won't? What are you saying? Who else won't come and say Peter Obi is not going anywhere? Peter Obi is far miles ahead, and that is why they are trying now to see if they can catch up with the man. Seriously, he has a good market, a very good product to sell, and people are buying into it. Thank you.
Thank you. Let me take this message from A Crown before my guests in the studio will give their closing remarks. A Crown says Engineer Femi has nailed it all. Nigerian leaders have no excuse. I live here in the US, and with the inflation, people are still fine because the comfortability of the citizen remain paramount to the US government. The reverse is the case with Nigeria. With Nigerian government, they truly need to desist from this heartless mindset towards their people. Akran, thank you very much. And then you have Amelove. Amelove says, I would advise that INEC should publish the names of the people whose registrations are not valid so that people involved can come forth for clarification or question the INEC official of that zone. Thank you very much, Amelove. All right, Benga, your closing remarks. We are really out of time. 60 seconds.
Yes, within this average. But I want to say that Nigeria is not immune from war inflations. Just that our leaders, the state governors, this local government, something, it has collapsed. If not, the state governor should be the one bringing palliative to make people feel better in this inflation. Secondly, INEX system as of today is not 100% real time. What I mean real time? Registration in local places is just that they collect the data and go and upload. That's why if somebody registers second time, you can't see and say, okay, you are registered before. It's when they get to the server, they now say, okay, somebody is there. So that's why you can't blame INEC for now. It's the time they say people should go and register online. Those who are prevented from registering in multiple. But if you go to the local places on the street, it's just a box, the system that collect the data from you. And that's why if you're having this multiple registration. And for B, it's a good man, he has intelligence, he has everything. But the greater obstacle to him, which he wants to cancel, is from his own base because the gladiator, the governor, the reps, and all those things, who are merely PDP and ABGA and APC, want to protect their own. For ego reason, they will not want Obi to take away that you cannot deliver the federal government, you cannot deliver your electoral district, you cannot deliver your state to your party. Because of that, they need to do a lot to make sure that they are able to overcome that obstacle. Thank you very much.
Wilson, your parting shot.
Well, my parting shot is that Nigerians should be realistic. And realistic in the sense that if we have tried two political parties for 22 years and we are deep down in the ocean, I think people should think twice. It's only mad people that will, want to go with something that you know that you have tried over time and you have not gained anything. However, I want to say if Peter Obi does not matter, why is it that they are so paranoid about stopping his 1 million people march in Lagos and the rest of the places? Peter Obi matters, and they are so paranoid about it. I want to just leave us with just a quote from Marcus Aurelius. It says, "When a bunch of known corrupt people unite against one man and spare no effort to ridicule him, blackmail him, and attempt to assassinate his character, follow that one man." I rest my case.
All right. Thank you very much. Just to let you know that the Federal High Court sitting in Lagos has failed to rule in favor of the lawyers who dragged the Labour Party presidential candidate Peter Obi and his running mate Yusuf Dat Baba met to court seeking to stop their presidential rally, which is slated to take place in October in Lagos. The court refused to rule in favor of the plaintiffs and had also failed to grant an ex parte injunction on Thursday, 15 September. The court, however, adjourned the matter to 23rd of September for further hearing and directed the plaintiffs to put other parties on notice. That's the issue of the case to stop the 1 million man march in Lagos. But on our main topic tonight, opinion polls are also part of the electoral process. They may not determine who eventually wins the election, but have a way of giving people ideas as to what is happening in the polity. For whatever it is, given our level of development in Nigeria, it has not really made impact in that direction. If 2023 will be a starting point, well, we wait to see because there's always a first to everything. That's how we wrap up on today's edition of the program. And thanks for joining us from wherever you are in the world. And thanks to James, who has joined us from the Gambia, Obioji from the US, Paulie Wunze from the US, Akram from the US, KD from Abuja, Femi from Abuja, Sen Jabam, also, okay, Sen Jabam from the UK, thank you. And of course, Wilson Oka for Chartered Estate Value and Surveyor and Public Affairs Analyst based here at the nation's capital. Thank you, Wilson.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And Benga Udubayo, Public Affairs Analyst and ICT Expert, who have also joined us. Thank you very much, gentlemen. Thank you. And the team behind, you don't get to see. Guys, love you, appreciate you for doing it once again, Monday through Friday. We love you all. On behalf of the team, I am Victor Irwele, thanking you for being part of the show Monday through Friday. Have a pleasant night rest. As I say, God bless your heart. We see you next week, God willing. Good night.